looking with his goal in the second half, although it was finally put into the back of the Arsenal net by Pat Rice from about a yard range, giving the game a very interesting twist towards the end, after Radford and Kennedy had scored the goals to put Arsenal into that strong position in the first half. And so we're left with the final scoreline after a very entertaining last league match of the season here at Upton Park. The scoreline that reads, West Ham United 1, Arsenal 2.
Well, the right sort of spectacle to end the league season at West Ham, where their crowds have, as I said, been better this season than last. Sad in a way to see West Ham joining this so-called anti-TV brigade at a time when they've shown that by producing the right brand of football with the right outlook, you can still pull in the fans even without winning things. Maybe less griping about television and hooliganism and the rest of it all, and a stronger following of the Ron Greenwood approach to football is the strongest hope for football as a whole. And for once, I believe Jimmy Hill and I are in agreement.
Well, I do agree, because I thoroughly enjoyed that game of football yesterday. It's always a pleasure to see West Ham's style of football, because they do play the most entertaining part of football in the game. But more than that, I want to point out to Arsenal fans that their team too, although people say they're not an interesting team to watch, made their share of the game yesterday. They were as skillful as West Ham in conceiving passing movements, really entertaining stuff from players who haven't got the reputation of being very skillful. Look at that early ball there from Ball, giving George the chance that he needs to lay that one in Radford's path. Beautifully conceived, quick striking, and Radford, the ball bumped there at the end and he missed the goal by 2 yards finally. But this quick strike of Arsenal's was what won them the game yesterday. West Ham took too long to build up, and Arsenal were prepared to do it quickly. A little bit of luck maybe about this goal. That's the first goal coming up, across from Radford. Kennedy wins it. I think maybe he was trying to play it across the goal, and it went in. But there were 4 features in the game yesterday that I particularly want to draw attention to. First of all, about West Ham. I think they showed the whole of football a lesson with these first 2 incidents. So often we see players rolling over in supposing agony when they've been hurt. Look what way West Ham do it. Charlie George Foot came up there against Bobby Moore, hit him in the face. It really did. But what does Bobby Moore do? No complaining to the referee, no rolling about. He takes a free kick, getting on with the game, and nearly produces a goal in the process. We can see the same attitude now from Aris. As this ball comes across to the right, you see Bob McNabb go in very fiercely. I'm not complaining about that. He had to go for that ball. But Aris fell very firmly on the floor there, and he had maybe reason to stay down. But what did he do? Got up, had a smile with Bob McNabb, and kept the game going, which is the kind of thing that the crowds like, really, and keeps them interested for the whole of the 90 minutes. Another incident now, showing the better side of West Ham, and of Arsenal in the end. Alan Ball there is advising the referee what he should do. He's complaining about something. A little bit of humour creeps in. Bobby Moore puts his arm round his shoulder, pats him on the back, and once more, we see the football and not the chatter. And Arsenal, they've got their humour too. What about that? For a Maxwell walk there from Eddie Kelly. I think these days that one of the things that's gone out of the game is the humour, and maybe it's one of the things that's keeping so many people away from the game. There he is again. What a lovely little shot of Eddie Kelly beforehand. A light-hearted approach to the game. Maybe that's one of the things that's needed. But my message to everyone for next season, to the players and managers particularly, is that if they play the quality of football that we saw yesterday, they show the sportsmanship and add a touch of humour, never mind television, never mind hooligans, you won't be able to keep people out of the ground.